My next guest has graced the stage here at Park City Television on a number of occasions, but always on the Mountain Morning Show. So I'm excited that it's my first opportunity to talk on camera with the recruiter guy, Bill Humbert. Welcome,
Terry,
sir.
thank you. It's
good
great
to see you, brother.
Be here.
No doubt, huh?
Yeah. Awesome.
It's been too long that we've talked about this, and
we have.
I'm glad we're getting your expertise on the air. So just to set the stage for folks a little bit, longtime recruiting guy, written books, active all over the country. I think we could all use a little career advice.
Great, let's go for it.
Well, the first thing is, let's start off, as we discussed a little bit beforehand, in 2013 it's kind of an interesting time. People have had some financial hard times, career hard times. Talk a little bit about the experience that you're having nowadays with folks who are kind of mid, maybe a little later than mid-career, and having to kind of reassess, look at their career. Maybe they haven't planned as well as they should have, that sort of thing. What's your experience these days?
You know, this is something that really has happened throughout the ages, but people hit 48, 50 years old. I don't know anybody turning 48, but you have people hitting that age, and all of a sudden they're going, where'd all the time go? And I'm not where I thought I was going to be. And so what happened? They just kind of coasted with their career, and they didn't end up where they thought they were going to end up.
And is that something that you've seen, I mean, that exists? Have you seen a change in terms of kind of like a percentage of folks that are, hopefully anyway, more planning and career-minded nowadays than, say, in the 80s or the 90s or an earlier era?
No, I believe it's really pretty much been the same. There's usually 5 to 10% of the people who really do a good job planning and then executing their plan. And then in most everybody else, you know, they'll have moments perhaps where they do really well, but then they don't do the planning to get to the next stage. And so I think it's something that's more of a very small group of focused people.
Interesting. It seems to me as though, and I'm a little bit different nowadays, I'm not in the regular corporate kind of workforce, but with all of the tools that are available now through the internet, through social media, LinkedIn, all those kinds of things that didn't exist such a short time ago, that there would be a lot more people that would be more focused on using those kinds of tools, simply because it's so much easier than it used to be to have to seal the envelope with your folded up resume in it. And
well, they still try to do the easy thing though, you know, and I call the easy thing posting and praying. That's the, you know, if you're going to be in a job search, the best way to promote yourself is through networking and doing it properly. And networking requires give and take, not just take. Right. And so, it's the same is true once you get into a position and you want to propel your career forward. It's really important to network with people who are already out here and find out how they got there. And then maybe some of them, if they're far enough out, may be willing to mentor you. And so that's really how it's done.
Great topic, a great thought, because I've always felt like, and I don't blame anybody, I should have been more proactive, I think, when I was a younger guy, to seek out mentorship, and maybe I should have been more proactive about it. But like I say, in the old days, I always felt a little disappointed that I didn't have that and I really could have used it. Talk a little bit about how to do that effectively in terms of getting connected with somebody that can really help you see your career progression in the right light.
A lot depends on the size of company that you're in. So if you're in a smaller company, it's a lot easier sometimes to go up to somebody who is at the top in the executive roles and build a relationship with them. A large company, you could be thousands of miles from those people, and it's more difficult. And so it just really depends on where you are, and that will make it easier or more difficult. And then once you're, let's say you're in a smaller company where you have access to executives, if you position it so that you say to them, let me demonstrate to you what I can do at this level, and then maybe you can mentor me to the next level. And so that way you're demonstrating that you're willing to get out there and work hard to produce results. And if that's the case, then they're going to help you.
And it occurs to me also, and I never thought this before, again, as I look back at my young days of maybe being a little skittish about approaching somebody and saying, hey, will you help me? I only saw it from the standpoint of, I'm just a young guy, I don't want to bother Mr. or Ms. So-and-so. And as you were saying that, it occurs to me that that's a great compliment, even for someone who's made a bunch of money or whatever their accomplishments are, to have a young person who clearly is goal-oriented come to them.
Oh, Terry, yeah, you're exactly right. They love that when somebody does that, because you're right, it's a huge compliment to them. And most people who are in the executive roles, they kind of view themselves as coaches anyway. Somebody maybe in the finance area may or may not as much, because they're not as much people.
Right.
But, you know, a salesperson, a sales VP,
absolutely,
boy, they'll be, you know, hugging you almost.
For sure, for sure.
And marketing's the same, and so it's in a lot of areas, you'll see that. And I've seen it even engineering and technical. You know, the engineering managers, if they've got somebody who is really sharp down here, they want to keep them, and so they'll be happy to mentor them.
Get that fast track happening.
Exactly. Now, you know, you don't have to measure your success by number of people you're managing, and that's really
right.
the old way.
It is the old way, for sure.
You know, the best way the metric to use, I believe, is, am I making a positive measurable impact, and am I having fun? If both of those are there, you're going to be happy.
Fantastic. Good thoughts, both, and I think both encouraging ways to look at it, for sure. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about job searching in 2013.
Awesome.
We'll be right back, more with the recruiter guy, Bill Humbert, right after this. Welcome back. We're chatting with the recruiter guy, Bill Humbert. So, it's 2013. What are the trends? What are our industries to be looking towards? What kind of advice are you giving to folks that are job searching that you're working with and mentoring in the search process?
You know, it really depends on their background, first of all. But areas that really are growing, healthcare, you know, I'm a baby boomer.
Right.
We're getting older. Healthcare is going to be a growth area in terms of jobs. The biosciences are going to be huge growth areas, and we're, you know, as a nation and as a world, we're growing in just leaps and bounds in terms of the knowledge that we have about our bodies and everything around us,
Absolutely.
Our nature. Renewable energy, I think, still has a lot of room for growth in it. You know, people are talking about, we got to get the tax thing back. Well, you know, once they get it to the point where it doesn't need the tax benefits,
right,
and the cost gets to the point where you can generate electricity or power without needing that, then that's just going to take off like crazy. And the technology is improving there too. You know, the wind towers used to be 1.5 meg. I think they're making 3 meg now. So, you know, as that technology improves, that's going to improve the cost, the payback. So there, you know, I just have tremendous hope for the future. There's just so many different places that you look that you can expand and grow.
Well, and that's a really nice thing to hear, because we hear so much negative with regard to, obviously, the unemployment rate is always bandied about in the media, and I've never really felt like that was a particularly meaningful number, especially because, to me, the large-scale statistics matter much less than individual people's experiences. Mm-hmm. But it's good to know that somebody who does it for a living every day is feeling that enthusiasm and that encouragement for the future.
Yeah, there's a lot, you know, for our next 8 years, I think that we'll see a lot of growth. And we're a type of economy. Every 8 to 10 years, we'll go into recession, and it's kind of a correction. And so, you know, I'd say if you're a person out there who really is focused on expanding your career and growing, now's the time to be focused, set goals, and then move forward executing those goals.
I'm so excited.
You should be.
That was a great that was a great pep talk. I didn't know I needed it.
Yeah.
But it's great to hear it. So you're going to come back. We're going to get a little series going here, talk about some more specific issues within the career game. But nice to have an introduction conversation to frame things for the future. Great to see you. Website. Tell folks where they can find out more about you, about your practice.
I'm really easy to find, recruiterguide.com. And of course, I wrote my book, Recruiter Guy's Guide to Finding a Job. And locally, you can get it at Dolly's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great store. Always
Yep.
fun to
Oh,
go
yeah.
browse at Dolly's.
Yep.
Recommends you well to be carried at Dolly's. Bill, good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Terry.
All right, quick break. Back with more right after this.